What up? What up? What up? It's your boy Rich. Real Talk with Rich is back, y'all. One more again. Hope you guys had a wonderful day. Want to shout out to Black Comic Lords and Black Superheroes Forever fam. Man, oh man, it's good to be here with you guys on today. And tonight we have a special show. But before I get to the show itself or whatever, just want to shout out to everybody, man, that is supporting us. God, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you guys do. And please, if you're here, like the video, share, subscribe, tell some friends, tell a hater or two. It's all good. I promise you. And, we want you guys to also support the channel. So while you're here, reach in your pocket, give a little change. You know what I'm saying? $1 here, $1 there. It goes a long way to help us do what we do. And again, I just want to say thank you for all your support. Thank you for your, continued watching and commenting and, helping us to be the best we can be. Respect. Want to thank each and every one of you that are with us, whether it's Pericles, Gordon, Mahan. I see Card Imperial and Comics in the building, Bot Boy Versus. Thank you for coming. I thought I saw Robert Monroe Jr. earlier. So shout out to everybody that's here tonight, man. So tonight we got a special show. And normally we would talk comics and we would talk comic book news tonight, but I just wanted to switch it up a little bit. As we get ready to close out Black History Month, I felt like we needed to do a show that, highlighted some Black history, but at the same time, honor the forum in which, or the medium in which we are in. We're talking about a couple of graphic novels tonight, and we wanted to talk about some giants, some icons, some geniuses in our history. So some of you youngsters may not know, but a lot of us older ones will know these two gentlemen we're going to talk about tonight. We're talking about the incomparable Jimi Hendrix and the icon that is Gil Scott Heron. Matter of fact, some will say the greatest guitarist that ever lived. And for us, Gil Scott Heron, some will say one of the greatest poets that ever lived. Some call him the godfather of rap. He had his own thoughts about rap, and we'll talk about that. So in having a conversation like this, I did not want to do this conversation from a monotone, if I can say it like that. I wanted to bring in someone to share this conversation with. One thing I love about our fandom is that we have some dope people in this fandom, dope collectors, dope energy, dope, just good guys, man. And our guest tonight is one such guy. This guy is an artist. He's a tattoo artist. He is a sculptor. He's a creator. I affectionately call him the King of Wakanda because his fandom as far as Black Panther and T'Challa is concerned is unmatched. Ain't nobody touching this dude, I promise you. And you will say to yourself, well, why is the King of Wakanda live in Buffalo, New York? I don't know and I don't care. I'm just glad that he's there. Without further ado, I want to introduce to some and present to others my man, 100 Grand, Otis, Black Line, Arterberry. Please bring him up. Salute, King. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on? How are you doing?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. Glad to have this conversation with you on tonight. We're going to talk about, we're going to talk a little music. Well, the cool thing about our fandom is, we talk about, comic books and we talk about, different things, whether it's collecting and that kind of thing. And sometimes in those conversations, we cross different things. And music is one of those things, whether we're talking about hip hop and things of that nature. But, we kind of, not too long ago, recently found out that we were both fans of Jimi Hendrix and both fans of Gil Scott Heron. So before we get into the actual books that we're going to be talking about in regards to these two giants, I want to just ask you, what was your introduction to Jimi Hendrix and Gil Scott Heron, if you don't mind sharing?
Okay. Hello, everybody. Good evening. How's everybody doing? I want to thank you first and foremost for wanting to do this with me. Like,
yes, sir.
It's an honor, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've chatted offline and, things like that. And we always vibe. And like getting to, I was telling my wife right before I left the house, I was like, you know what? I'm a 50-year-old man and I'm about to go kick it about Gil Scott and Jimi Hendrix and comic books. This is beautiful. This
Yes,
is
sir.
awesome. This is awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been thinking about this since we talked about it. Like this is cool. Like, you know, we've discussed it before, and we've spoken about how not having anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It just always used to be just us. So it's just really, really cool that we're able to do this, and I just want to thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, first let's do Gil Scott.
Okay.
No, we'll do yeah. Let's do Gil Scott. Let's do Gil Scott. I was introduced to Gil Scott, and I had no idea who he was. When I was a little
Okay.
boy, my dad and I would go to New York for the summers, and you know, we'd see him, and we go for the ride in the Lincoln. He used to play this song for me and my brother, and it was "Your Daddy Loves You," right?
Mm.
And I just remember him bending them corners. You know what I'm saying? You know, Cool 100, Newport, you know, in his mouth.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? And just singing like with his heart this song. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mhm.
Not once did he look down at us. He didn't look at me in the passenger seat. He didn't look in the rearview mirror
Right.
while he was singing this song. But he didn't have to. Do you know what I'm saying? He didn't
Yes,
have to.
sir.
So this song stuck with me for years. I had no idea who did it, and I have no idea why I never asked my dad who it was. But I could sing this song. I'll be honest with you. I used to sing myself to sleep. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Because I lived in Niagara Falls, he lived in New York. So I used to sing myself to sleep with that song. I knew every word, but I didn't know who it was. So later on in life, I remember writing it down on a piece of paper and putting it in my wallet, so I would remember to ask. So then one day we're at his house, and it was like I said, "Yo, you remember that song you used to sing?" And as soon as I said it, he just broke out into it, and like I'm like, "Wow!" I said, "Yeah, that one." He's like Gil Scott, my man, and that was the first time I heard his name. So I said, Gil Scott. And he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, that's my man. And he started telling me about him. And from that moment on, I went on this journey. And I
Right.
found everything that he wrote. I got everything that he's ever put out. Like, I'm still learning. I'm still learning about him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was my introduction to Gil Scott, was that song, Your Daddy Loves You. That one
Okay.
and the bottle.
Yeah.
The bottle and the bottle. That was the other one that he was singing while he was hitting them corners too. So those two
Uh-huh.
songs, I remember those. Okay.
Yeah.
Now Jimmy, um, this is hilarious. I'm a big wrestling fan since I was a kid. I'm talking Great Kabuki, Jimmy Boogie Woogie Man, Valiant, Abdullah the Butcher. I'm talking old school.
Oh yeah,
You know,
that's old school. That. Uh-huh.
right. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking way back. That was my era, right? Um, so I've been watching it since I was a kid, and I was a big WWF Attitude Era, WCW Nitro type of guy. So when Hollywood Hogan came out, that song, you hear those chorus, when you hear that, it like, you know, I'm like, whoa, what was that?
Yeah.
And he came
Yeah.
out there, he was playing that the championship belt, you know what I'm saying? And then when he said, chop it down with the edge of my hand, I'm like, yo, what is
Yeah.
this? I've never heard this before. You know,
Yeah.
so he became one of my favorite wrestlers when he's a bad guy. I never liked the yellow and the red.
Yeah.
That's no story. I liked him as a bad guy, but I couldn't wait for that intro. I couldn't wait to hear those guitar strings. So then I went on a journey, and I said, I got to know who this is. Did the
Right.
same thing I did with Gil Scott, and I just soaked everything in. And I've been a fan ever since. How
Yeah,
about you?
man. Yeah. So let me before I get to mine, I want to acknowledge the super chat. Thank you, Peter Parks, for the super chat. So I can tell already it's going to be fun and educational. Thank you. Well, thank you for being here and thank you for the support. Mr. Paul, could you please do the honors, sir? As we
Donation. It's a donation. I thought it was the trash. Don't be hitting on me. Thank you.
Okay. Now, as far as Gil Scott goes, my introduction to Gil Scott was a couple of ways. First time was hearing The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, and that was actually hearing it on Pacifica Radio. Pacifica Radio, for those who don't know, is a independent, almost, I would say, almost underground type radio station. They don't play the mainstream type stuff. So this is, literally 30, 35 years ago. Okay. First time I heard Revolution Will Not Be Televised. Later on, I was listening to which is weird, man. I can't stand radio today, but my foundation comes from radio, ironically. But I was listening to a talk radio show on, I think it was KTSU, which is a college station in Houston, Texas Southern University's college station. And there was a guy on there who hosted a show. And every time he opened his show, he used to play Peace Go With You, Brother. And if you ever listen to that song, it is a very, very chilling song. It's a beautiful song, but it's a very chilling song because it's a song about a brother who is talking to another brother and telling him, in essence, say, man, I kind of wish some days that you were my brother. And, I kind of wish that we would never have anything to do with each other. But because, I am the way I am, I'm going to just say, peace, go with you, brother. And so that was kind of one of my introductions to Gil Scott on starting to really dig and find out who he was. Now here's another tale. Back in the this is kind of go now. Don't judge me, y'all. I'm a preacher now, but I wasn't always a preacher. And so back in the day, guys used to do PCP. They would talk about angel dust. I used to have a guy that lived down the street from me who used to like to get dusted. And I remember him talking about that and that song being like a big song at the time. But you couldn't tell them nothing. No, man, that ain't nothing like getting dusted. Ain't nothing like getting dusted. You ain't did nothing until you got dusted. And so Angel Dust is one of my favorite Gil Scott Heron songs, ironically, to this day. I don't even know what that cat is. But suffice to say that was just one of my stories on how I kind of connected to who Gil Scott was. So throughout the years, I've always enjoyed, his music, and whether it was being sampled in hip hop. One of my favorite songs, Johannesburg, hearing that in samples, and whether it was PE and other groups that did it. But also, him being me being a poet, I just identify with poets. One of the things that, I think we shared, you shared with me, Omar bin Hassan, the guy who was with the Last Poets.
Oh, yeah.
I used to love the Last Poets, and the Last Poets doing their thing and that kind of thing. And I remember my dad taking me to the theater to see Right On. This is way back in the day. This is when, and for those who just need a hip hop reference to that particular song, Too Short did a song called In the Ghetto. And at the end of that song, In the Ghetto, there is a part where the Last Poets take off, where he talks about die, nigga, die. But there's a poem that they did in that movie, in that movie Right On, they did that poem. And that's just how kind of far back I go with all this. And so, Gil's kind of like been that music in my life, that soundtrack in my life. Now, the thing with Jimi Hendrix is, Jimi Hendrix was a gift to me from my uncle. I grew up going to, when, I lived in Houston, my family is from Lubbock. And so Lubbock is literally like a 10-hour drive, okay? So on my way to Lubbock, my dad was a big Isaac Hayes fan. So I would listen to 8 tracks of Isaac Hayes all the way to Lubbock. But when I got to Lubbock, I would hear nothing but guitar. And I literally would spend my summers looking at a poster of Jimi Hendrix from the Monterey concert, Pop Monterey concert. That one picture of him with the band around his afro standing, that was the picture that my uncle had on the wall. And so I loved Jimi Hendrix before I really even knew who he was, because I wanted to be like my uncle. And so it was one of those things where that's how I got a chance to be introduced to Hendrix. Now, I didn't get into Hendrix till really, really later on, but you know how it is. Certain things imprint on you.
Yeah.
If I can say it like that, like an animal will imprint on you and will be loyal to you, whatever. So that music was literally imprinted on me. So later on, when I did pick it up, it was like second nature to like just really just rock out to Hendrix and that kind of thing. Because if I had not had that experience with Hendrix, I wouldn't have had that experience with Ozzy Osbourne. I wouldn't have had that experience with Black Sabbath. I wouldn't have had that experience with Judas Priest. Things that as a black kid, I had no quote unquote business listening to. But Hendrix was my introduction into that, was my gateway into that. So as far as, Hendrix goes, that's kind of how I call it a gift, because again, I'm just a little kid, like 6, 7 years old, hanging out with my big uncle, who who was my idol at the time, and he's playing this psychedelic guitar that's just mind blowing. As a kid, you can't even really comprehend it. It's just a sound. It's not even noise. It's just a sound. And so that's kind of how I connected with Hendrix in that fashion. So yeah, man, I really dig the way I kind of grew up, because the way I was introduced to music and that kind of thing is always funny. There's always a story behind it.
Always.
So yeah.
Always. Yeah.
So yeah, man. So let's get into some of these books. So we're gonna do the good first. We'll do the bad later. We're gonna talk about Hendrix. The Electric Requiem. Now, this is a book, y'all. For Paul to bring it up. This is the book that was put out by Blaze. And man, this is an incredible book. And I want to just go ahead and go on record and say, shout out to my man Otis, because he gifted me a copy of this particular book. And I gotta say, good art, good story, but it's a great gift. So this particular book, whatever, right? It is a story about a kid who is what would you say, Otis? More like a wizard. It almost starts off as a kid wanting to be a wizard.
Yeah, right.
And
like use magic. Yeah.
Yeah, like magic. You know what I'm saying? It's a trippy story, and really all the stuff that I've seen of Hendrix or whatever is always trippy. But this particular story here, man, I really dug it. I dug the art, and I also, like I said, I dug the story that they were baking this in, because they covered his life, his whole life, in this particular book. And I just was like really fascinated that they took the position that they did with it. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like telling this story around his story. So what was your initial thoughts, man, when you first read this and checked this out?
I love the artwork. It was like, I'm not always like comic books. We're used to superheroes, muscles, and all that type of stuff.
Right.
But like, to me, this is like kind of like abstract. Like the way, like this page right here, how the only thing you see is him.
Yes, sir.
You know he's on a stage. There's a light. You know what I'm saying? Like, the artist did a phenomenal job of, like, this is artwork that you feel. And it's not necessarily something that you can explain. I can't say, well, this and this. It's like, when I look at this, it makes me feel something. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is art that moves you. I loved how they used his songs and how it was illustrated like his songs. like the castles made of sand
Yes, sir.
you know what I'm saying? Like it was awesome. And you also saw the changes of him. And man, I don't know if we spoiling this, you know what I'm saying? If somebody hasn't read it yet, I don't wanna tell what happens exactly in the book.
Yeah.
But there was a part of it that, like, I not just like how I said with the artwork, you feel it. There was a part of the book towards the end when you got to when all see I don't want to say it, but I'm saying like it was awesome how he got to see himself, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It was
Yes.
awesome that he got a chance to see himself, because a lot of us, we don't look back at like who we used to be. We don't sometimes we want to leave
Who we are alone.
that behind us, who we are behind. But what we got to understand is that's who made us who we are now.
Right.
Those versions of you know what I'm saying, like seeing yourself back in the day, or however you want to put it, like you can't you gotta you can't.
I get what you're saying, bro.
No, I'm trying to get it, man. I'm gonna get it. You can't be mad at the person that was in school, that was learning. That person got you to where you are now. And what's crazy about that book, right? Because y'all know I always got to get personal with stuff. That's just me. This is how this stuff is. Like that's why I feel the way I feel about this stuff.
Right.
Like I love finding myself in the story. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's certain stories, you know, Spider-Man the 35. You know what I'm saying? Like when you find yourself in the story, you know what I'm saying? It does something to you.
Yes, sir.
It shows you that you're not the only one going through it. You're not the only one learning. You know what I'm saying? And no matter how old you get, you're still learning. If you alive, you learning. Well, at least that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I got from the book.
Right.
I'm sorry, I went on another whole
No.
way,
You're good. You're good. I you know, it's let's check out some of these comments. We'll comment on those and we'll move on from that. So Gordon Mahan says Hendrix was that guy. I saw handwritten song lyrics of his at the Museum of Pop Culture in Seattle. Yeah, Hendrix, you know, a lot of people, Hendrix was a genius. He was an enigma, and it seemed like he had a gift that he almost didn't deserve, if I can say it like that. And the reason why I say it like that, Otis, is because he was so gifted. He made it look easy, and then he would do tricks on top of it, right? And you know, that's just how cold he was. He made Little Richard dim his light because Little Richard saw somebody that was outshining him. You know what I'm saying? This dude has been in bands with Little Richard. He played with the Isley Brothers. There's a lot of history there. He was just so cold with it. And so when you talk about the story about him seeing himself, I love that part in the book. And I think that if the people want to go buy it, they're gonna go buy it. And I don't think we can spoil it because I think they're gonna go buy it just because we talk about it. But there's that part where he says he had like 3 images of him, and he looks. He said, "Who is those?" Well, that's you. That's you. And no matter how far we come, to your point, Otis, those things that made us who we are today, they follow us. And so I think that was kind of cool that they put that out. But just to give some credit, the artist on this book is Gianluca Marconi. And this is a book that Ablaze put out. So yeah, Let's check out some more of these comments, man. What else we got? He says, Ricky George said, I really appreciate this community. Great. Robert Moreau says, after you mentioned Peace Go with your brother, my son found it online, and now he wants to explore Gil's music. Salute.
Oh,
yeah, man, appreciate that. Card Imperialism Comics said amazing colors. Chicago Vader, dope, fire. Salute. Yep. Card Imperialism, yep, understand. Want to mention Watts Profits too. Appreciate you, Kay. Now, Rob Moreau says, have you seen Voodoo Child Illustrated Life of Jimi Hendrix with art by Bill Sienkiewicz? So, yes, we have. Go ahead. Matter of fact, Paul, go ahead and bring that up. Before you bring that up, I want to salute Bo Big for the super chat, $5 super chat. Salute. So Voodoo Child we're not going to necessarily get into the depth of Voodoo Child, but I feel like we got this book in our collection. So we need to talk a little bit about it. Bill Sienkiewicz illustrated this book. This is a ill book, bro. Very psychedelic, very ill. I mean, the layers that Bill put in this book is amazing. I think there are really no words. We really could do a show just devoted to this book.
No doubt.
That's how much stuff that's in this book. But what I do want to bring out about this particular book is that this also tells the story of Jimi Hendrix, but it also tells the story of life around Jimi. Whether his struggle in regards to who he was. Because the thing, I think that Jimi was not comfortable in his own skin. I think when a person has genius qualities, they don't necessarily are comfortable with the world that they're in, with the skin that they're in, because everything they do gets, magnified. Everything that they say or everything that they are a part of. Because there was a time when, and actually the Electric Require book, kind of alludes to it, where black people really didn't mess with Hendrix like that. Yeah. And it's one of those things. Why are you playing this white boy music? That kind of thing. But the people that were saying that to him were very short-sighted and not knowing that rock and roll was created by black folks. And the music of the 60s in particular and the 50s that black artists were doing, it had its roots in blues. And the crazy thing is that Hendrix initially started with the blues, right? Mm-hmm. But he couldn't stay there, because the blues keep you in a lower position, but Jimi always wanted to go up. Yep. That's why his music sounded the way he did. He couldn't stay on the bottom. He had to fly, right. And the blues audiences didn't quite get that. You know what I'm saying? But when he was learning how to play guitar, he had a mentor that kind of told him that, you got to get into those muddy waters first. Now, that's a kind of play on words, but what he was getting at is that you gotta get it out the soil, which is how he perfected his craft and how he did the things he did. Even though he was talking also about the artist Muddy Waters, because there's an album that I want to recommend that guys go get. It's called Jimi Hendrix Blues. And that is a bad album. That album, it is cold. And one of my favorite, blues songs by Jimi Hendrix, A Train Is Coming. A Train Is Coming. Man, that's a bad song. But, A Red House Over Yonder. I mean, this dude did this dude did all kinds of music. You know what I'm saying? You clearly couldn't put him in a box like that. And so, some people think that he's the creator of psychedelic rock or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it was uniquely him. And, he did his thing. He was with us. He was only 27 years old, Otis, when he passed away.
That's crazy.
And he put out a lot of music but man, he left a lot of music on the table too. And you know, that's the thing about Gil and with Hendrix. They had this troubled life, but they were able to accomplish so much in a short period of time. So my question is particularly about this particular book, is that what is your favorite part about this book?
My favorite part about this book is that I can't give you a favorite part about this book. And that, straight up, sorry about the camera.
It's a good book. It's definitely a good book.
It is sorry about that.
No worries.
This book, truth moment, this CD, like this book came with a CD.
Yes, sir.
All right, this book came with a CD, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it had 6 songs.
Mm-hmm.
This is my very first Jimi Hendrix CD.
Really?
And I played this thing, man. Like, this was my first Jimi Hendrix CD, and I just played it and played it. The second one was Jimmy live at the Isle of Wight. And hearing his music live. Well, okay, I'm sorry.
Go
This
ahead.
book. Everything about this book. I learned a new term the other day. And the term was book dragging.
Huh.
And I read the definition and I'm like, this is really cool. A book dragon, for people who don't know what that is, I didn't know. A book dragon is a person who collects books, doesn't necessarily read everything, but when they see a book and they want it, they get it. And
yes, sir.
Every dragon has their own reason for why they hoard these books. Mine, and a lot of other people's, is I'll always have something to read. Do you know what I'm saying? I have thousands of books. I'm telling you, I got a problem. I'm keeping it real with you. I have a problem. If I see a book that I want, I buy it. You know what I'm saying? And we all have long boxes, stacks of comics that we haven't read for years, and that to read pile. And then you got nerve to buy new stuff. And I don't know if you ever seen that little video with the stacks of books. It's like, this is the stacks of books. These are your to read pile books looking at you bringing in new books to read. You know what I'm saying? That's who I am. So now I say all. Oh, let me see. Sorry about that. My headphone ran out. Okay, you can hear me. Okay.
Yeah.
I say all that. Out of all those books that are in my Dragon Cave, top 5.
Yes, sir.
5.
Wow. That's what's up.
The artwork in this book is some of the best artwork I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, show some of that, Paul.
Also made me a fan of Bill Sienkiewicz. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like this.
Yes, sir.
Everything about this book, the artwork in this book is phenomenal. Beautiful. Yes. Absolutely beautiful. Even if you don't read the story and you just went through the pages, you can follow it. It's psychedelic and how trippy and the colors and the little wisps going through pages and stuff like that. You can still follow the story. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. So I can't give you the best part of this book. But how about you?
Man, look, I'm gonna be honest. When you have this book here, to your point, Otis, there are pages where the writing of the book is, Paul, you showed me the writing of the book. The writing, there's literally, words that you read on the border of the book, right? That's kind of key. That keys you into certain things. It's just the way it's laid out. The colors is dope on it. It's imaginary almost in a sense. It's kind of like they told Bill to say, "Hey, we just want you to just write or just draw the trippiest thing and just put a whole bunch of different elements in it. Because really, in my opinion, what he did in this book was he really tried to capture the mind of Jimi Hendrix. That
Right.
all of these different things were going on in his head at the same time. I showed a picture earlier about, with Malcolm X on it, Martin Luther King on it, and they had something about the Beatles on the very bottom of it, different words and different things that were going on at the time. There was just a lot of different things going on. And one of my favorite Jimi Hendrix songs, because it's manic depression. You know what I'm saying? He played that, he sings that song, and it's not a song that you really get sad about, but it's a real song and say, look, it's a frustrating mess. That's what but he gonna still play though. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? My life is an organized mess. And so for me, that's how I see this. To me, I'm the type of guy. And by the way, shout out for that term, because that's basically who I am. I am a book dragon as well. So, but
Yeah.
I'm the kind of guy that will put on a record, and I'll just sit in my chair and I'll just thumb through pages, and I'll just let whatever's on the page talk to me.
That's right.
That's just kind of how I am. And with Hendrix, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It goes without saying that it's a trip. The guy, like I said, he's a trippy type of guy. Somebody mentioned earlier about his rendition of the national anthem,
Yes.
and how amazing that was, because basically he plays the national anthem. He doesn't play it the traditional way. He
Yeah.
plays it with a lot of distortion. And what people picked up on later on is that he's really capturing the gunfire, the shots, the things that were going on. And Vietnam was going on at the time. I mean,
Yep.
that dude was just a genius in how he did his thing or whatever, man. So, and somebody mentioned earlier that it was only 4 years. It was a whole lot that he accomplished in 4 years. And he did it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, that dude was gifted, incredible. So let's
Yes.
look at some of these comments again, bro. Uh, Back comment, Lord, the book dragons unite. That's what's up.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
1 in 100 podcast. Shout out to Amir. He says, "What up, fellas? I'm late. Did y'all mention that there's a new Jimi Hendrix graphic novel coming out in June? It's called Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze." We were going to talk about it, but you kind of spoiled it. So, yeah, that book is actually, I think, coming out. I think this says it's coming out in July. But yeah, that is a book coming out called Purple Haze at Titan Comics. And we're going to talk about Titan Comics when we talking about Gil Scott later, a little bit later on. So yeah, that is
Mm-hmm.
coming out. I'm definitely looking forward. I already placed my pre-order for that. So, yep. Now, what
Yeah.
else we got? It says, side note, it says, side message. Otis, where can I get that shirt from? There are other hero shirts like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, this shirt was a gift. I helped my man out at MegaCon, my bro Matt. We worked Simone Bianchi's table, and this actually is the artwork for Marvel Masterpiece 2018. Simone Bianchi, he did this rendition of the Black Panther. One of the
Wow.
coolest renditions that I've ever seen. I'm gonna do my Derek of three weird fantasy flexes right now.
Uh-huh. That's what's up.
I have the
Woo-hoo.
original artwork for the card. This is the prelim. This is the prelim, and I also have the prelim rough. So there's
What?
stages. There's stages. There's this one,
Uh-huh.
then there's this one,
Uh-huh.
and then they put it. And then they put it on. They make a card out of it. There's a card, but
Right.
it's over there, and I don't want to knock down anything. But as you can,
Damn!
yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the same shirt. But to answer your question, well, yeah, it was a gift from a friend of mine because the three of us had him on. He had on the Incredible Hulk. There was an Incredible Hulk version, and there was Iron Man version, all from the 2018 Marvel Masterpiece. And on the back, I'll post a picture. But on the back, it says Black Panther in purple letters. It's all black, and it says Avengers, and it has the symbols for all the Avengers going in a circle. It's pretty dope.
Okay.
So,
That's what's up.
it's the. I don't know if I can share this information. I like having this shirt to myself. No, I'm just messing. It's Dim Dimmak Marvel line, and I'm sure if you type that in, it'll come up, and it has different versions. I think they're print to order, so they'll give
Okay.
you different options to pick from, but they have like the Avengers, they have the X-Men, they have all in this version. But yeah,
Okay. That's
it's
what's up.
yeah, yeah.
So shout out to Chicago Vega for the super chat. Thank you, sir. Salute. Yeah, man. So that's what's up. So yeah, man. We Hendrix, I think is so. Let's talk about a little bit about the music. We talked enough about the books itself, whatever. So
Okay.
if you can give me your top five Hendrix songs for you that you love.
All right. That's a tough one. It's kind of like the book, man.
Yes, sir.
His he got nowadays nowadays you have that music that you could skip a few tracks. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You get to the ones that they play on the radio or the ones that you like, but you skip a few
Mhm.
tracks. It's not like that with Hendrix. And you
No.
can start it at any point of the album and let it go. And if you get some live stuff, you know what I'm saying? His live renditions of some of his famous songs are better than the the commercial editions on the radio that were
Yeah.
on the record. Like I'll um I'll answer your question, but I want to go back to
Yeah.
something that you said earlier about him and his amazement and on the guitar. The weirdest
Right.
thing I've ever thought of is I've never had someone make a guitar talk to me.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Oh yes.
With his music, with his guitar playing,
Hmm.
he makes that guitar talk to you,
Hmm.
and it's not in words. And that's
No.
what I mean. How special it is. You can't put words to it, but you understand what that guitar is saying, and it makes you bob your head. It makes you make the ugly face when you're like, ooh, you know what I'm saying. You
Yes,
know what I'm
sir.
talking about. You know what I'm saying. So he was special like that. He was special like that.
Yes,
But
sir.
okay, 5 songs. 5 songs. All Along the Watchtower,
Yes, sir.
definitely. Um, Purple Haze,
Hmm.
naturally. Um, Red House,
Hmm.
Machine Gun
Yeah, that's
from
a good one.
let me tell you. I'll tell you, and I'll tell you the last one. Machine Gun. I just discovered this maybe 2 months ago. Now I've listened to that song 1,000 times, and that's something else that I appreciate about his music is that you'll notice things that you never noticed before. It
Right.
depends on what car you're in. It depends on what speakers you're listening to. I got a pair of Dre Beats, right? And
Hmm.
I used to say, I'm not paying, $250 for a pair of headphones. No, no. But I understand why, because you get to hear the music as it was supposed to be heard. So if you hear um we'll say Machine Gun on your stereo in your car, and you listen to it with the beats, and you hear the different the drums and then the guitar,
Hmm.
and then like it gets soloed out, right? So a few months ago, I never realized in that song that the drum and his guitar were the actual bullets of the machine gun. I just love the sound. I just love the sound. It was like,
Yeah.
and I just love the sound that it made. And I'm like, yeah, this goes along with the song. I never realized that they were the sounds of the machine guns going. And that's what I mean about the specialness
Yeah.
of him, of who
Right.
he is.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So the last song, number 5, I'd say You jump in front of my car when you know all the time. 95 miles an hour, girl, is the speed I drive. And
Uh-huh.
I love it says, you got tire tracks across your back. You
Uh-huh.
had your fun, huh? You know what I'm saying? I like that one. I like
Uh,
that one.
uh, yeah. Oh man,
Yes.
that's crazy.
Crosstown
Crosstown
traffic.
traffic. Yes, sir.
Crosstown traffic. Yes. Yes. Good
I
stuff.
remember when
Good
I
stuff.
first heard that song, it made me laugh because you definitely get the message that
Yeah.
he was putting out, man. So for
Oh,
me,
yeah.
my my top five Hendrix songs is Hey Joe
Oh,
is my favorite Jimi Hendrix song.
yes.
For those that don't know, Hey Joe
Yes.
is I think it's in matter of fact, I think it's a cover. I don't think he wrote it, but it's a song about a guy who kills his girl because she was messing with another man, and him running to the border, going to Mexico to get away.
Yeah.
But the song itself, man, I remember hearing that song and just the cinematic. That was one of the first songs I can definitely say that was like a movie,
I hear you. I
and
hear
it's
you.
bluesy and it's a beautiful song.
Hmm.
Hey Joe, I mean, I just love that song. So Hey Joe is my number one. Number two would probably have to be The Wind Cries Mary.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I just love Hendrix blues stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, his poetry or his lyrics. After all the Jack boxes, I don't know how does he say it? Um, and all the clowns gone to bed. I mean, it's just a crazy thing. You're thinking about a circus, and it's just an ill song. I just love that song.
It's
So
beautiful.
that if six was nine,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
that guitar, I mean, that's
Hmm.
just can't nobody touch that, bro.
That's
Can't
right.
nobody. I'm surprised nobody's tried to. No hip hop, no rappers have tried to sample that. That is a bad guitar lick in
It
that
is.
song. If six was nine, along the Watchtower,
Hmm.
definitely.
Definitely.
And I've seen that song played in different movies over the years and stuff, and I just dig that. That's just an ill song.
Yeah.
And the last one would probably is a almost a dark horse, and that is Who Knows. His song he did with Billy Cox, the band of Gypsies, when he had his all black band. Uh, they don't know
They don't know
what I
what
know.
I know.
They don't
They
know.
don't know. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
that that song there, man.
Boom, boom,
And the Band of
boom,
Gypsies
boom.
album,
Hmm.
that was an album he did with Billy Cox. Now, for those who don't know, Billy Cox was a guy that he was in the army with.
Hmm.
And they didn't make this song for like years and years and years later. Hendrix did a lot of traveling before he actually got to that point. And one of the things is that there were people in the Black Revolutionary movement that were getting at Hendrix and saying, "Why are you playing this music for these white boys?" And it wasn't like Hendrix was doing that on purpose or whatever. Because you got to remember, Hendrix had to go to Europe to really blow up.
That's right.
He was in America doing the chilling circuit with all of these different acts, right? And did
Yep.
not pop for whatever reason. He had to go to Europe to get really noticed.
Yep.
And the story is that when Eric Clapton, and Eric Clapton is one of my favorite guitarists. Eric Clapton heard Jimi Hendrix play and almost found another job.
You made him go sit down. You made him go
That's
sit
how
down.
good. That's how good he was.
Yep.
And
You
and
made him go
so
sit down.
so he has this thing about him. Like I said earlier, he almost doesn't deserve the gift because I mean he made it look so easy. He made it look so easy. He is truly a genius. You know what I'm saying? Certain
Yep.
people throw that word genius or legend around. No, that dude was a genius. You cannot if if you take the music that
Mhm.
Hendrix did out of America music, and you don't, and really the music is dead because he's literally responsible for uh, R&B as we know it. That R&B that has an edge, all that stuff that Parliament and them were doing,
Mm-hmm.
they got that from Hendrix,
Yep.
Eddie Hazel, one of the
It is.
baddest guitars. We were talking earlier about
That's
Maggot
right.
Brain.
Woo.
Hendrix, that's Hendrix baby.
That's right.
So
All day.
all day, and so again, somebody brings up Voodoo Child. You brought up Voodoo Child earlier. That I remember the
Yep.
first time I heard that, and again, I wasn't always saved, guys. Please don't judge me. But the first time I heard, not the first time, but the first sample I heard that song in was a Two Live Crew song. And so, just that very first beginning of the song, and that guitar lick at the very beginning, but that man, that Voodoo Child that's a ill song. Cause and here's the thing too, the stuff that he says in that song is very signifying, very braggadocio type stuff, Dolomite type stuff,
That's why I
you
love it.
know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that kind of thing, man. So yeah, that dude, that was bad. Now, 1 in 100 Progress, he brings up another song, Freedom. Freedom. Yeah, that's a good song too. Man, there's a lot of dope songs that he did. I know we asked for top five and that kind of thing, and that's kind of like, it's
Yeah.
kind of
That's
almost
right.
redundant when you try because there's so many
Yeah.
songs that are out there. So yeah. Now, Robert Monroe Jr. says supposedly Jimi Hendrix and Miles Davis are supposed to get together and make some music. That would have been mind blowing. You know, right? That's two alphas.
Yeah. Yeah. It could go one of two ways. Yeah. One of two ways.
I was listening to a podcast uh, about Prince, and there was a time where Prince and Miles, did they collaborated on stage. They did a performance on stage, and so Prince has this thing where he does certain things for cues to make certain things happen with his musicians, but his musicians were so in awe of Miles just being there. They were like, I can't do that. This dude is his show. You know what I'm saying? That's just how dope Miles Davis was. But yeah, that would have been definitely mind blowing. Miles Davis had a One Rock album, and I think it's what Bitches Brew, I think is what it's called. But that was his contribution to rock music. So I definitely could see that them doing something. That would be incredible. But we got this super chat. KJ Sumbukuma. I'm sorry if I don't want to brutalize your name. I appreciate this, Richard Otis. Chat, y'all making this fun too. Very fortunate to catch this live. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Now, Amir just said something. Amir, you came late, but Otis said the exact same thing almost.
What?
It's
I
the
can't
first
believe
time
it.
I heard Voodoo Child when Hulk Hogan used it as his
That's
walkout
right.
music. I was
Chop
like
it
12.
down with the edge of my hand. Yeah, 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 yeah. I thank the Hulkster. I gotta thank Hollywood Hogan. Gotta thank him.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
and
that
you know
that
what?
was.
And real quick, on
Mhm.
the flip side of that, another reason why Jimmy's so special to me, just like Gil Scott, I talked to my father 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was 40 at the time. I talked to my dad, and I'm like, I have every Jimi Hendrix. He gave me the Bluetooth so I can play some music in the car for the first time. So I
Mhm.
said, "You mind if I listen to some Jimi Hendrix?" And he was like, "What do you know about Jimi Hendrix?" I was like, "What do you mean? What do I know about Jimi Hendrix? What do you know about Jimi Hendrix?" And I'm saying this because he's never mentioned Jimi Hendrix to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're playing these songs and he's singing along and we're both singing. We get back to the house and he's like, "Come here for a second." And he opens up his closet door. Every Jimi Hendrix record, he
Mm.
had them all
Wow.
live on stage. Are you experienced? He was showing me deep cuts like, and I said, "Why have you never told me about this?" And in OG fashion, he said, "You never asked."
So you know what I'm saying. So I was like, all right, cool. So we listened, and so again with Gil
Yeah,
Scott, listening to him sing. My dad was the biggest Jimi Hendrix fan, and I didn't know it. But then that was something else that we connected on at
right.
40. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So that's the
yes, sir.
that's the magic. That's the magic of Hendrix. It's the
Yes,
magic of Hendrix.
absolutely. No doubt, man. Um, Now there was a comment earlier. Uh, I think Robert Monroe said talking about Eddie Hazel. He said everyone should get Eddie Hazel's Games, Dames, and Guitar Things. It's an incredible album. Yeah, that's the album that has the California Dreaming
California Dreaming. Oh
uh,
yeah,
cover.
yeah. I listened to it. I listened to it.
That man, that album should.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that album did not blow up. I mean, it's a cult classic. You know what I'm saying? And P Funk fans love it, enjoy it, and that kind of thing. But that version of California Dreaming that he did is incredible. And of course, for those who don't know, Eddie Hazel was a guitarist for Parliament Funkadelic for years. He's an iconic guitarist. That's one thing about R&B. R&B guitarists don't get a lot of love for whatever reason. Because when we think about guitar, we think about rock initially or blues. But
Right.
he was one of the amazing talents that came out of that Hendrix tree. Um,
Mhm.
no doubt should get that for sure. So we've talked about Hendrix. Let's talk about Gil Scott. So there's a book that we both read, and guys, we really we're going to talk about this book, but we're not recommending this book. If you're a Gil Scott Heron fan, you might want to cop it because you're a fan.
Right.
But we're
Right.
not.
Exactly.
We're not. We can't endorse it and say go out and spend your money on this because this graphic novel is not about Gil Scott Heron. Gil Scott Heron is the object of the story, but the story is about the guy trying to get an interview with Gil Scott Heron. And it's a graphic novel. Um, it's actually called In Search of Gil Scott Heron, The Godfather of Rap. It's by Titan Comics. It was written by Thomas McCarry, and the art is by Seb Piquet. And I like the art. The art was kind of cool. Uh, but the story in and of itself was just not that good. There are parts of the story, like this page here, that shows, Gil, playing and that kind of thing. Gil Scott Heron on the low was one of the best artists, whether you want to call him jazz, alternative, poet, or whatever. I mean, he was just a soul man in every uh, thought of the word, just a soul man. He was more known for his poetry than his actual songs. But him and Brian Jackson did a lot of good music together. And that panel there is probably my favorite panel, and that's at the very
That's
end of
pretty
the book
cool. That's pretty cool, bit. Yeah.
when he talks about, what I'm saying, you're a black person in America, it's dangerous. So you already in danger, so you might as well speak up, you know, anyway, because you're still in danger, whether you are silent or not. I think that's a telling for the times which he lived in and the times that we even live in today. So, like I say, we really can't, you know, when we read it, I was excited to get it because me and Otis talked about it. And I was like, man, after I finished reading it, I gave my Otis my thoughts. It was like, this was just not cool, bro.
Mhm.
Um, I think we expected more and we really wanted to know more about Gil that we hadn't had. Because the thing about Gil's life is there have been a couple of books that have been written about his life. He died, tragically. He was 62, uh, died of HIV/AIDS, and kind of died quietly. He had left the scene for a while, and to just kind of peel back the curtain, we were talking. Otis sent me a DM about a song that's on his last album, Spirits, and it was a song about him dissing hip hop. Funny thing is, in the book itself, it talks about him, people calling him the godfather of rap because he did a lot of, poetry. in his music, and he wasn't comfortable with that title because he felt he had issues with hip hop. Because as someone that does spoken word, that kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? He had all kind of songs that were about uplifting the community, whether we're talking about things, you know, poems like Brother, you know, you, you know, I mean, he had so many different, he had a lot of stuff that was very, very funny as well. Like, what is it? Sex education.
Sex
Um,
education.
that, that was a good one. Whitey on the Moon is one of my favorites as well. You
Yeah.
know, my sister Neil got bit by a rat, but Whitey's on the moon.
Yep.
he,
Yep.
he was just a down to earth guy. So before we actually get with and deal with Gil Scott, man, let's just talk about this book real quickly.
Knock
So
it out the
Otis,
box.
tell us, man, how did you feel about this book when you read it? You know, your thoughts on it, sir.
All right. Well, you all know me, and those who don't know me, I always try to find something good in everything.
Yes, sir.
Always. You know what I'm saying? It's you always you look for that silver lining. You know what I'm saying? You look for that silver lining. Um, with this book, it was very hard. It was really hard to find a silver lining. I will say I did enjoy kind of like what they did with the Jimi Hendrix book, where there would be a page and there'd be a song title above, and then some of the words, and it would kind of correspond with what was on the page. You know what I'm saying? Reading those words, and I mean, like, I don't know about you, but for me, it's like comic books. When you read comic books, you have a certain voice for Black Panther. You have a certain voice for Spider-Man. You have a certain voice for Batman, and you've had that voice for years. So, or maybe it's just me, but in this book, when I read the songs, I heard him. I read them in his voice because
Right.
I've listened to his music and I know his music. And I have to tell you that that was honestly the only saving grace for me for this book. Because just like the title says, In Search of Gil Scott, but you see how the in search is real small, but Gil Scott's real big. It should be the search should be huge. It should
Yes,
be
sir.
actually on the front and the back. And then Gil Scott should be like this big. Because that's the story. The story is this guy like nearly missing him all the time. Or
Mhm.
meeting up with a friend of Gil's, and then her saying, "Well, I'm gonna take you to him," and then finally getting that phone conversation and not missing the phone call. Like the whole book was this guy's attempts to meet Gil. So
Right.
I would say if the book was 30 pages, 7 pages were of Gil Scott songs, 3 pages were of Gil actually talking to this guy, and the rest
Mhm.
was this guy saying "holy mirrored," which I found out means SH double hockey stick, or no, not as hell. Sugar honey iced tea. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He says the word mirrored all throughout this thing, which I learned that's what that means because I think he's French. I think he's French, and
Right.
um
Yeah.
and him just missing Gil. Now me being like the optimist, optimist or whatever you want to call it, I say to myself, this is a story that this guy wanted to tell because it's his story. Literally, it's his story of how he almost met Gil Scott. He's trying to find Gil Scott. So in that sense, I can say I'm happy for him because it was a memory of his, but
Yes.
he chose to share this memory with us. But I feel like the title is um misleading. I
Yes.
feel like the title is misleading, and it's more about the search than it's of Gil Scott. And like you said before, Gil Scott fans, they clamor for anything new because everything that's out there, we either already have, we already read. So if it's something new, we want it. And this just wasn't it. It really
Right.
wasn't. But if you're a Gil Scott fan, like you said, you might want it just to have it. No, just to say that you got all the Gil Scott stuff, but I'm telling you, it was $30, and $30 is $30. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
sir.
it's not a big book either. So
No.
$30. I would say wait till Amazon has it for like half price, 7.99.
Yeah.
And I don't like. I want to say this. I don't like because I'm an artist myself,
Yes,
and
sir.
I don't like down talking anybody's creativity because what is art to you may not be art to somebody else.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So, and not just the art, not just artwork, but like the writing as well, the creativity. This is his story. Like literally, this happened to him. So it's like
Hmm.
someone telling you this cool story that they think is cool because it was a cool experience for them, and then you're like, why'd you just waste an hour of my life? Like it was boring. I'm not saying that the book is boring, but like the person
Yeah.
telling you the story, you're like, I that was cool. But they're so excited because it happened to them. It's kind of like this book. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I
Yeah.
got from it. So like I said, I don't downplay anybody's creativity, but it just wasn't a Gil Scott fan friendly, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. It's definitely a book for, I would say, a casual. But I do, I shout out to you for bringing up the discography that is in the back. So if you are a collector of Gil Scott music, they do put a real good, list together of uh, certain albums or the album to complete discography of Gil
Mhm.
Scott. However, I will say this: um, they don't have everything on that because I'll show you an album real quick, and this is not even songs. This is all poetry.
Mhm.
This is an album um, from 1970, put out by Flying Dutch Records. It's called uh, A New Black Poet, Gil Scott Heron, Small Talk at 125th and Lenox.
Yep.
This is just poetry. And one of the poems that's in this particular is Whitey on the Moon. It's listed in here. But this is all just poets, all spoken word songs. And again, that guy has an extensive album collection. Going back to Hendrix, I'm starting to start look at picking up some of the bootleg stuff.
Mhm.
There's a lot of Hendrix bootlegs, you know, and even the bootlegs are out there so much so that the Hendrix estate is endorsing a few of them. So
Wow.
that just kind of shows you, the lengths that people go to your point about wanting to get something new or something
Yeah.
fresh from these artists and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Uh, so with that said, bro, let's just get to music, the poetry of Gil Scott. Um, you know, I'm not going to ask you for your top five, but just give me your favorite Gil Scott songs, poems, or whatever.
All right. Your Daddy Loves You is
Hmm.
actually my number one song, period. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, 50 years on this earth, Your Daddy Loves You is my number one song. Played it for my kids. My kids play it for their kids. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, that's how deep that
Yeah.
song is, right? Both
Hmm.
like
Yes,
both
sir.
versions. Because there's a couple of different versions. The bottle, just
Yes.
because it's reminiscent. I mean, it's real.
Hmm.
It's real. Um, Home is where the hatred is,
Yeah.
and there's two versions of that. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple different versions of that, but you know how you listen to a song, you know every word,
Hmm.
you can hit the ad libs and all that, but you never really listen to the words, or it doesn't hit you yet. Home is where the hatred.
Hmm.
I know that
Hmm.
song word for word. It's one of my favorites. It hit me a year ago, like
Wow.
what that song really, really meant. And also, again, how I understood it and how it affected me. Like my man was saying, this is how I got it. This is what I took from it. Home is where he was comfortable. Home is where he always went. But home wasn't a good place.
No.
It's not really, that shouldn't be your home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It shouldn't be your home, but you're so used to going back home, you just do it.
Right.
So that song, it touched it
Yeah.
always, and I think maybe a part of me always knew what it meant,
Hmm.
but it took that one time, that one day, that one situation, that one time to play it, riding, and then just boom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
just like the Hendrix music, this stuff is timeless.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? This stuff is timeless. And it's not something that is trending and
No.
it'll be gone in a year or 2 years or whatever. These men, timeless.
Yes,
Just
sir.
timeless. You know, I don't think you'll not discover something new
No.
with either their songs, the live performances, or like just hearing what you hear. Even this conversation right here, like I don't claim to know everything about Jimi Hendrix. I don't claim to know everything
Right.
about Gil Scott. I know a lot,
Hmm.
but I was looking forward to this because I was going to learn from you. That's what I
Right.
meant by being able to talk about it. Like you're mentioning things that I didn't really think about. And you said freedom. Somebody mentioned freedom. Like I've heard that song, but I never really listened to it. But now I'm going to. You know what I'm
Yes, sir.
saying? So okay. So I'm sorry. Gil
No, you
Scott.
good.
Home is where the hatred. Angel Dust. Angel Dust is just like I remember my dad like singing Angel Dust with all of his soul, which either is telling me something or it's not telling me something. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember him like that was his jam. You know what I mean? I would the other one is Grandma's Hands. We're trying not
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
emotional, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Grandma's
Yeah.
Hands, yo.
Yeah.
Grandma's
Yeah.
Hands. Grandma's Hands. That that
Hmm.
song, that song, that applies to everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That applies to everybody. You feel that song. You know that song.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
You know that song. So yeah. So those are like, I think I said five. Those are my top five. And
Okay.
the last one he did um before he passed away, I think it was the last album that he put out where it was New York is Killing Me, Me and the Devil, Walking
Yeah.
Side by
Yeah.
Side. You know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. I know that song. Somebody
Like that
mentioned it early in the chat. From it was
yeah,
in 50. It was in Power. It was in Power. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that album, that
Yeah.
album,
Yeah.
I'll take care of you.
Hmm.
I'll take care of you. I want every man that's watching this who has a girlfriend, wife, uh, uh, boyfriend, whatever you're into. You don't have to co-sign anything. Whatever you're into, you go listen to that song and you sing it to your significant other. You listen to the words of that song and you sing that to your significant other. I guarantee you get some points. Guarantee you get some points because that song is so heartfelt. He was talking to somebody in that song. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you
Yeah.
know, but yeah. So
Yeah.
so
That's
he just those are my top five.
okay. So for me, of course, the I like the quote unquote commercial stuff. Revolution will now be televised for obvious reasons because I'm a poet. It's one of those that was the message before the message. Um,
Mhm.
Also, Winter in America.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know, I love that song because that's like that's one of those introspective songs when you could look at life outside and you see all the technology and you see all the money and you see all of the the prosperity or whatever, and it's really a mask. And that song "Winter in America" really tells you the truth about America, the truth about, life is frozen, full of frozen aspirations. People are struggling today to just be able to pay rent. Um, and there seems to be no compassion coming from the higher ups. That song resonates today. Home is where the hatred is. I saw a documentary. Matter of fact, it was actually not a documentary. It was the TV one. What's the show that they do? They do Unsung,
Unsung.
the unsung version of Gil Scott Heron. Y'all go Google that. But they talked about that song, what that song really meant. And I've heard that song over and over and over, right? But I did not know. Well, I kind of knew, but I didn't know that this was him singing about his addiction.
Yeah.
Because there's a part of the song where he says, hit it, quit it, hit it, kick it, that kind of thing. He's talking about him going home because, like you said, he was comfortable at home. But being at home means, I'm gonna get high.
Yeah.
I'm in these familiar surroundings or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We getting high, and that's what happened. I mean, unfortunately, with these artists and whatnot, Hendrix died of some say alcohol, overdose, and he choked his own vomit.
Yeah. Big
You
screen.
know,
Yeah.
Gil, died of HIV/AIDS. I don't know if he was sharing needles or he got it sexually or whatever, but either way, they both had demons. And we all have demons that we wrestle with and that kind of thing. And Gil was he wasn't shy talking about it. Angel Dust, was another song, one of my favorite songs. Now the live version of that song,
Mm-hmm.
that's the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
song. That's the song. Y'all go Google Gil Scott Heron live, Angel Dust. That's the song. That song is about 8-9 minutes.
Yeah.
And he goes into a kind of like jazz, skitty bop, and gonna die, gonna die. I mean, it gets deep. That is one of the
Yeah.
most fantastic live songs ever. That song, Angel Dust, Peace Go With You, Brother, is another, one of my favorites. Um, and I guess Lady Day and John Coltrane.
Beautiful.
Because that's one of those songs where, that's like a Saturday morning, get up and clean the house type
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. 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 I'll call it Sun. What? There's another one like that. Like
I'll call it in the
Is I'll
morning.
call it morning. Yeah, I call it morning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the other one. You put that song on. You see cartoon birds flying by. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a
yeah,
sad, like you said, a Saturday morning. Looking outside and watching the squirrels go by. Yeah, it's one of those songs. Quick,
yeah,
real quick. B movie. That's my joint.
yeah,
And um Watergate. The H2
yeah. H2O
that
Blues.
H2O blue. The first time I heard that, the first time I heard that, it blew my mind. I mean, the way he broke that down was amazing to me. It was absolutely amazing to
Yeah,
me. And I let a couple of my like teacher clients listen to that song, and they're like, "Wow, I didn't know anything about this." Yeah, one of my clients is a college professor, and he's putting his students onto it. So
yeah,
it's dope, man. It's dope.
yeah,
Gil was talking about stuff that's still going on today. Do you know what I'm
yes,
saying? With the corruption, with the politics,
mhm,
even people and their actions. And one of the coolest things that I heard about him um was this guy. I can't remember who it was. It was some sort of documentary on YouTube, and the guy said Gil Gil stayed on the curb, and what he meant by that was he stayed on the curb because he was able to reach the people in the street.
mhm,
He had his battles with demons, but he felt like that was where he was supposed to be because a square couldn't talk to somebody in the street and tell them
Right.
what Gil tells you. And
Yeah.
a square, they wouldn't listen to the square, but they'll listen to Gil.
Hmm.
It's almost like it's tragic. It's tragic that he had his addictions, and because he was a brilliant man, and listening to him talk, um like he just knew so much and he had so much to give.
Yes.
And it's like it makes you wonder, kind of like Jimi Hendrix, these people are powerful. They
Hmm.
are they're people who reach people.
Hmm.
And if you think about, like, Gil had a extend his life was, he had a pretty long life. I mean, 62 is not long, but he was on this earth for a while. Jimi Hendrix died 27.
Yeah.
um the things, the impact that these two gentlemen made and are
Hmm.
still making. There's people that are watching us right now that are going to start
Yeah.
looking up these things that we're talking about, and then
Yes,
they're
sir.
going to discover them, and then they're going to put it. One of the coolest things ever was I picked up my grandkids and I was taking my granddaughter to dance. My grandson sitting one side, my granddaughter sitting the other. My grandson loves Michael Jackson. That is his man. He knows. I mean, there's nothing like a 8-year-old singing "Rock with You" and knowing every word,
Yeah.
every ad lib. You know what I'm saying? It's awesome.
Uh-huh.
And his sister trying to keep up. But I said, hey, Papa Otis is gonna play something different, if that's all right. And they were like, all right, cool. And I put on that Hendrix, and my grandson was in the back seat doing like this. He
With
had never heard it
his
before.
air
He's in
guitar.
the back seat doing like this. His sister looking at him, she's copying him doing like this. And like when Jimmy got into it, like he's
Mhm.
like he saw it. Now
Yeah.
that's crazy because my grandson's 8. He has never
Mm.
seen Jimi Hendrix once, but he
Yeah.
knew when those
Hmm.
guitar licks, he knew to arch his back and open his mouth real wide. And
Uh,
it's like that music, you feel it. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You feel it.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's dope. It's dope. It really is. It's dope.
Yeah, man. One of the reasons why I wanted to do a show like this is because I feel like music is just not the same. And that's not to say that there aren't talented people that are doing music today.
Right.
But the fact that Jimi Hendrix been gone since like 1970,
Mhm.
and Gil's been gone since 2011, and here we are in 2024 talking about them, how relevant they are,
Yeah.
goes to show you how you know you know how deep their music was, and their influence. You know, somebody brought up "Pieces of a Man," and
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's definitely one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
I have a problem sometimes though listening to "Pieces of a Man" because sometimes that song makes me cry.
Oh yeah.
And the reason why it makes me cry is because there are times in my life where I have been so broken that there are pieces of me everywhere,
Hmm.
and that when people see me, they may see me doing a show like this, right? But they don't know how broken I really am. They don't know the struggle of just living life,
Yeah.
maintaining just some time to get up out of the bed. They don't know. And it's something I told my daughter. It's not that I don't have pain. It's not that I don't have struggle. It's not that I don't, and it's not that I refuse to show it to everybody. I just know that I got to get up.
Yeah.
That's it. I got to get up. I can't lay in the bed. I can't let the darkness or the shroud, because that's what I call depression. Depression is like a cloak. It
Yeah.
never comes on you. It never comes on you and it just throws you something on you. No, it literally wraps itself around you. and you can sit there and you can wear it if it's on you, or you can shake it off and do something about it and get up and move. And that's one thing about music that is powerful, is that music can get you through those dark days.
Oh, yeah.
Because just like my struggle may not be drugs. My struggle may be a relationship with my father, or a relationship with my brother or my mother. And that's where the home is, where the hatred is.
Oh,
I don't have a problem in school. I don't have a problem out here in, dealing with strangers or whatever. No, my problem is at home.
at home.
I can
Yeah,
relate to
man.
that. Jimi Hendrix, when he talks about manic depression, it's a frustrating mess. One day I'm great, I'm good. Next day I'm struggling with this. And so all of these songs, man, they have been the soundtracks of our lives. And if we're able to share those things with them, it's beautiful, because we're really sharing with them our own history. And it's up to them, for them to get the good that comes out of that. Because I do believe, to your point, that you try to find something good in everything.
Gotcha.
One thing about, I recognize I will pass certain virtue to my daughter, but also there's a box of darkness that goes along with that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That she gets, and that's one of the hardest things about being a parent or a grandparent or whatever, is the fact that you see yourself in your children, the good and the bad and the ugly and the indifferent. You know what I'm
Oh, yeah.
saying? Being able to
Yes.
wrestle with that. So yeah, and that's the thing about this music, man, is that Hendrix, for example, he could play around with songs like Crosstown Traffic and Foxy Lady, songs that'll make you feel good and have you smiling from ear to ear, whatever. And then he could take you places like The Wind Cries Mary,
Yeah.
Along the Watchtower. Because that's Along the Watchtower, if you really listen to that song,
Yep.
it's almost like you're being duped to go someplace. You don't really know what you need to listen to. That song is pretty dope, but it's also a song, kind of like getting high and
Yep.
being high. Um, it's crazy, because when I look at Hendrix or whatever, he was a work in progress. I feel like I don't feel like we got the best out of Hendrix.
Nah.
I
No.
think we got some good stuff, but I don't think we got the best out of him. And that's the frustrating thing with him dying at 27. And it's kind of like, this generation experienced, or the previous generation, and I got to remember how old I am, but the previous generation experienced that with Tupac.
Yeah.
When Pac was
Exactly.
25.
I was gonna say. Yep.
You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And to know that, yeah, Pac did all of these songs, but y'all didn't, you don't even realize that y'all didn't even get the best out of Pac. That's the thing about Tupac that I think that people don't catch. That yes, he wrote all these songs. Yes, they were beautiful. Yes, they were warm. Dear Mama, one of my favorite all-time songs. Love that song.
Yeah.
But as far as the best, it's only 25.
Yeah, man.
He was a baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hendrix was a baby.
Yeah.
And so, we are able to go and listen to a CD, and we're able to go pick up a graphic novel, and we're able to stream a music, an album or two or whatever, and we get to enjoy this art, man. But more than anything, man, I just wanted to have this conversation, bro, because I love I love people. And I'm gonna get this from actually a Sly Stone. I love everyday people.
Mm.
Does that make sense? You to me, Otis. I know you're very, and I want you to understand how I'm going to frame this. You're a very special person, but you're everyday people. You understand? There's more
Yeah.
people like you than not you. I don't know if
Right.
you know that or not. There's, I always try to find the good in humanity, and when I see
Right.
it in people, I try to champion, and I try to believe. You know what I'm saying? That all hope is not lost. That everybody's not an asshole. That there are some real good people in this world. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I just know that when I listen to certain music, I read certain books, I get this feeling of comfort and peace, and to know that I'm able to experience it. I told my daughter this. I'm gonna be transparent for a moment. I told my daughter this. I said, because I'm trying to get her to figure out what she want to do with her life. And then I told her, I said, you know what you need to figure out what you need to do. You need to figure out what you want to do when you're not working. That's what you need to figure out. You need to figure out what you want to do when you're not working. Because a job is a job, but what is it that you really want to do
Yeah.
with your life? Me personally, I'm a book dragon. Like you said, all I want to do is read books. All I
Yeah.
want to do is read books, check out some dope art, listen to some dope music. You know what I'm saying? Go to church on Sunday, give my God praise,
Hmm.
study, learn, but live my life and be around great people like yourself. That's all I want to do. I don't really want much else.
Yeah.
I don't need a big Cadillac. I don't need I just need a chair. I need a chair. I need a chair, some headphones, and a book,
Hmm. Yeah. That's it.
and I'm good.
Simple. Simple. That's dope. That's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Chicago Baby says, y'all teaching the class tonight. We have some great professors. Salute. So you know
Appreciate
what,
it.
man? Let's talk to the people before we get out of here, just to see what's on everybody's mind. Now, Bob
Okay.
Boy says my favorite Hendrix solo is on "May This Be Love." Okay,
Mm.
okay. Favorite solo by Hendrix. Man, there's so
Mm.
many.
There are, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Hey Joe. That's not that solo on Hey Joe is not powerful, but I like the way he phrased it. He said, "I gave her the gun, I shot her," and then he just goes into this.
It's horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible, man. That's horrible.
He
Mm.
just, you know what I'm saying? I told you that when I first heard that song, I thought I was watching a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
One
know,
of my one of my favorite lines is um that's all right because I still got my guitar. Look out now.
mm,
Like when like he's like, all right, my woman's not here. That's all right. I still got my
uh-huh,
guitar. And then at the end of the song, he's like, but her sister will. Like that. Those two songs, Hey Joe and Red House,
yeah,
is a little confession right now. I'm a tattoo artist, been tattoo artist for 25 years.
yes, sir.
I used to play those songs purposely when couples were in the room, just to get the reaction from from both of them, especially the sister will. Like I'm telling you, 9 out of 10, the guys cracked a smile, and their woman was looking right at them when they did it. And then the other one with the Hey Joe, I shot my woman down. You, I literally watched how tense a couple would get listening to that song, especially if they um have never heard the song before. Like
Mhm.
for the first time, Caucasian, they listen to, they're like, I watch them get tense. I watch them get tense. I'm like, wow, y'all felt that, didn't you? You felt you might have something going on in your life. I'm not asking, but I'm just watching. I'm just people watching. You know what I'm saying? I'm just people watching.
uh,
So that's my confession.
yeah. I mean, it's the thing about, I guess, the Hey Joe song. It's a very violent song. But it's a song. It's a blues song. You know what I'm saying? It's something that a Mississippi Delta blues guy would write.
Right, right, right.
I caught him messing around with another man. That kind of thing. That's and I like his commentary on it because he ad libs it, and that ain't cool.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he
That
did.
ain't cool.
Yep. Yeah.
Some of y'all after y'all get off this show, y'all gonna go play
Mhm.
that song, and y'all gonna hear that. Y'all gonna just break out laughing because
Yep.
again, that's definitely one of the iconic songs by Hendrix. But yeah, so again, man, all of these songs have a story to them. We talk about Red House, and the Red House over yonder. Whew,
Yeah. Yeah, man. That we
that's
I
that's
think I
just
think we I think I'm not gonna say all of us. I'm speaking for myself here. We've lived that Red House life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We know about that. We know about that
Mhm.
song. We
Yes,
definitely
sir.
know about that song. You know what I'm saying? Quick question. Quick question.
Yes, sir.
You know that? All right. That famous picture of Jimi Hendrix dressed up like Saber. You say what is it? Is it Sabra?
Saber.
Is it
Saber.
Sabra or
I
is
know you're
it
talking about.
Saber?
Yeah.
It's
Saber.
Saber. Okay.
Yeah.
That picture of him dressed
Hmm.
like him, was that
Hmm.
picture before? Say, I should have asked Don McGregor.
Yeah.
But was that picture
I
before?
don't think so. I think he was probably the inspiration.
Okay, hold
To
on.
be
I got
honest.
some. I got hold on. I got some. And let's see. Yeah. Well,
It
we
had to be.
here. We here.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been
We
watching
might as
y'all.
well.
I've been watching y'all for weeks, and I'm watching the little flexes. And not little
Uh.
flexes. I apologize. I hate when
No.
people
No.
use
No.
that
No.
word.
No. It's all good. It's all good.
The flexes, Mr. Three We Are Independence. I don't even have one of those. You got all them over there. Derek with his weird fantasies and
Uh.
I've seen the flexes. So now I think it's my turn. Hold on. Let me do this real
Uh.
quick.
Oh. You
Let me
got the
do this
black
real quick.
gloves, y'all. Y'all
I
finna
have
see
to
something.
I have to do this. I actually had a mail call that was supposed to be here today, and I'm a little
Mm,
disappointed that it wasn't because I was gonna unbox it right here. But
okay.
I bought a little something. I bought a little something, and it's relevant to what we're talking about. All right, so this is Saber number 3.
Uh-huh.
Now
Yeah,
you
that's
see, he
nice,
is
bro.
clearly he is clearly like they used him for reference
Yeah. 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 Definitely.
throughout the whole book.
Yeah.
And well, the other side too. There's 2 pages. There's
Wow.
2 pages. These are oversized. Billy Graham. Let me see. There we go. Billy Graham. Issue number 3. 2 of the pages. Got them directly from Shauna. But yeah, they definitely like
Yeah.
that. Let me see if I can
Yeah,
find it.
that's Jimmy, man. When I first saw the Saber books or whatever, that's all I saw was Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, that's Jimmy.
Um,
That's Jimmy all day,
so yeah.
all day. But yeah, but I was wondering. I honestly didn't know that whether um he was like, did he dress up after he saw the comic, or
Yeah.
was he like referenced in and I also wondered
Yeah. Yeah, that was
what
his
what
fault messing around.
what year did he pass away? I should know this.
Hendrix passed away, I want to say 1970, September 18th, 1970.
Okay, all right, yeah. So then, okay, I think Jimmy would have loved himself being in a comic book.
Yeah.
I think he would have liked
He,
it.
and he was a trippy dude like that.
Mhm.
And he just kind of like, he was almost kind of like a space case. I would have loved to see him and Sun Ra do some stuff.
Ooh,
I think that would have been an ill combination for them
wow,
to get
that's
together and do some stuff,
that's
because
somebody y'all
shout
should
out to
look up.
those. Yeah. If you guys, everybody, jazz is not everybody's cup of tea. I recognize that, but Sun Ra was I would say a guy that was ahead of his time.
Yeah,
Y'all should look up all of the Afrofuturism stuff that we talk about in comics.
yeah,
Sun Ra was already doing it
yep,
back in the 60s.
yep,
So, I mean, he was basically Parliament George Clinton before George Clinton. I'll say it like
yeah.
that. I mean, that guy was very, very, he was a space case. Matter of fact, he would say space is the place. So
That's it.
y'all go check that dude out. So we're going to talk to the chat real quick. So chat, we want you to know what's on your mind. We're going to be here for a few more minutes. We don't have to just talk Hendrix and Gil Scott Heron. We can talk a little bit of comics. Like I say, but we're not going to be here but a few more minutes. So I want to be respectful of my man's time, and I do got to get up in the morning and go to work. I see
Oh,
you got
like
the
that.
Thanos.
You
You got
talking about?
you
No,
got
no.
the
This is not the Thanos. This is the T'Challa. Gauntlet.
Wakanda. Okay.
The
Okay.
Wakanda Gauntlet. Okay.
Okay. The gauntlet. Oh,
Damn!
yeah. That's what's up, man. That's what's
Yes.
up. Yes,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
what's up.
So,
The
so if you want to
Wakanda
talk a little
gauntlet.
Black Panther, we could, but we don't have to. We don't have to
Well,
talk
let me
Black
ask you
Panther.
this. Let me ask you this. The I know you read the Ultimate Black Panther #1, and it's the Ultimate Universe and all that stuff. And you are the king of Wakanda. You live right there in Buffalo, New York. You're sitting on the throne. So I just want to ask. I just want your thoughts, bro, on the day again. Show them the throne.
I'm just, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. From this point on, anytime I'm on. That's funny. That's funny. Yes,
All is
from this,
crazy.
this point on, I will be. Anytime I'm on here, I'm gonna be sitting
Yeah,
on here.
yeah.
I'll be sitting
Sitting
on
on
here.
the throne.
Sitting
Yeah,
on the throne. Now we talking about Black. We talking Black
yeah.
Panther Ultimate.
What are your thoughts on
Um,
Ultimate Black Panther #1?
Loved it. I absolutely loved it, and I wanted to talk to you about something that you had
Yes.
said. I think it was last week when we were talking about. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Ultimate Black Panther, amazing. Absolutely amazing. I loved the direction. The artwork was beautiful. I understand it's the Ultimate Universe, but as you know, like I love all forms of T'Challa. Every version of him, some I love better than others, but
Hmm.
every version, even Star Panther. I know that y'all hate him, but even Star Panther, that's my dude. Okay, even, and I'm about to trigger somebody right now. Even Marauders 13,
That
Black
the child.
Panther, T'Challa that gave up the sword. All right,
Oh, no. 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 No, 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 no.
Yeah. Paul something else, boy. Shout
I
out to
know, I
Paul, our
know.
producer
That's why I
tonight.
said it. That's why I said it. That's why I said it. But for the record, I have every version of Marauders 13. I got the variants. I have all my books are clean. I might even send them in to get CGC. To me, I
So,
love that story. That
yeah,
story was awesome. I know Paul hates it. I know Paul hates it. I know a lot of y'all
yeah.
hate it. And one of these days I would love to have a conversation about the intergalactic world of Wakanda one more time.
Yeah.
If we
We
reread
make
some
it
of it,
happen. We listen. I have
because I know how you
I
feel
did not
about
like the run. But I'm on record as not liking the book, the run, right?
it.
But I recognize that it's a good. I just didn't like it. It's good, but I just didn't like it. That is funny.
That's good.
That's
No,
funny.
that's good. That's good that he
Paul's
ran
got
that.
all the
That's good.
toys, bells and whistles going tonight. But no,
Mhm.
I really think that the here's the thing about the Marauders. Let me just say something about Marauders 13. I was not. I don't necessarily hate Marauders 13. I just did not like what they did in terms of how they had Storm come to the throne room or come to the Wakanda, knowing that she needs this and this is her family or her former family, whatever. And she does what she does. You know what I'm saying? And T'Challa shows up, late and he's like, well, take it, that kind of thing. That bothered me because I felt like this is supposed to be your family. This is somebody that you were close to. This is somebody that, proclaimed you to be a goddess in Wakanda. And this is how you do them. So the story in and of itself was quote unquote compelling,
Mhm.
but again, just didn't like it.
Okay, I can respect that.
But yeah,
I can
But I
respect that.
mean, and it's nothing against uh Vita Ayala, whatever. They were telling the story, the Sword of X story. And this
Mhm.
happens to be one of the best stories. I will say that in the Sword of X series that they did, that Marauders 13 was a standout issue.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's no disputing that. Anytime T'Challa shows up, it's always a compelling issue or whatever. But I just didn't like,
Right.
man, you put your hands. Yeah.
I can respect it. I can understand it, but I'm on record at saying I like the story, and I really like the story because, well, they talking to me. I really like the story because I understood it.
Yeah.
I said it before. I've been to Jala in that situation. This is a woman that I love. Yeah, she's beating on my sister. This is a woman that I love. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You know what I'm saying?
It is what it is.
I'm keeping it a buck. Me and my sister, we ain't talked for a little while after that. And I'm not, it wasn't exactly that situation, but it was close to it. So I understood. Let's I am also on record saying that I am a bigger fan. I'm a T'Challa fan. Black Panther is awesome, but I am T'Challa the man. That is that's my guy. You know what I'm saying? I understand him. I understand the struggles. I understand like the things that he goes through. I understand going from the bottom and working your way back up. And then once you get to the top, you get knocked down again. Or once you get to the top of this mountain, it's the bottom of another one.
Mm-hmm.
I get all that. And that's why I ride with him the way I do. Good, bad, ugly, all in between.
Yes,
I
sir.
suggest to the people who don't like what's going on and everything, go read the older stories. I told y'all a couple years ago, we was on live and I was like, they putting out omnibuses. You might as well go pick them up because
Yes, sir.
you don't like the direction he's going. Read the older stories.
Read the older
And
stuff.
as we talked about, even in the older stories, I'm rereading some of them and I'm seeing stuff that I forgot about or I didn't notice the first time around. T'Challa has so many stories that will keep you busy, and I'm not making excuses for Marvel and all that other stuff, and what's going on and how they cut off this book and he who should not be named, all that, back in even in that run, like I'm not making excuses for any of that, but I'm saying this, and I have to say this because it's been on my mind. You want to run that disclaimer one more time, real quick, Paul? Go ahead, do it. Trust me. You might want to. You know me. I'm gonna say it, so you might want to run it. Go ahead, run it, man.
I would like to say something on behalf of the Kingdom of Wakanda.
I can't hear you.
We
You're on the
appreciate you, Black Comic Lords, and all of your programs. But we disagree with many of the opinions being shared today about our great King T'Challa and the Emperor of the Intergalactic Realm of God. Please continue on with your show. Very good. We enjoy.
Snap my fingers. Snap my fingers. You don't want me to snap my fingers. I snap my fingers.
Oh man, that's funny.
Just
that
snap
is funny.
You don't want that to happen.
Hilarious. We don't want to snap. No, we don't want to snap on it. We don't need to snap.
Okay, I'm done.
One last thing.
I'm done. I won't say nothing.
When we of the
I can't hear you.
Galactic Realm of Wakanda snap our fingers.
I can't hear you.
This is what happens. Beware. Do not mess with Wakanda.
Y'all stop the shenanigans.
Okay.
Y'all stop the shenanigans.
Okay. You're right.
Okay. Let's
right.
Let's bring it. Let's bring it back in. Okay, so that's too funny, man. You guys are hilarious. I love Black Panther fan. Black Panther fan is always entertaining. 100% Priest Omni Part 1 is out, for instance. Yep.
He cut my mic off.
Y'all stop playing. We try to do a show. No, we can hear you, bro. We can hear you. I can hear you. Brooklyn says the disrespect to Queen Bumble and humiliation to God and Shuri disgusting. Yeah. I mean look, that book was triggering. No, I can hear you. I can hear you, bro.
Talking to? Are you talking to yourself? Can you hear me?
No, I'm talking to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me.
Yes,
so you've heard me talking garbage all this time?
Yes,
I can't hear anything. I can't hear
You can't hear nothing? Paul, stop playing.
I can't hear you.
Wow. Paul.
Paul snap his fingers.
Paul. I need you to work.
Paul snap his fingers.
I don't know what Paul did. What you doing, bro?
I didn't do anything. I did
not.
not.
Can't hear.
It's
Are you
not me. It's
silencing
not
me?
me.
Oh Lord.
Wait a minute. Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me.
I can hear you. Yes,
we can hear you.
I can't hear you. I can't
You
hear you at all.
Hear us.
You pissed off, Wakanda.
I don't know what's going on.
Right.
I think you snapped your fingers and you took the sound off because I was talking about Marauders 13.
We just had a dope show. Y'all stop playing.
That's okay. Because if y'all can hear me, then I can still say what it is that I was gonna say. Since y'all can't hear, you can hear me, but I can't hear you, so I can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Otis, can you hear me?
I'm gonna say it. You can hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. All right, cool. Check it out. I won't go down that road. When you talked earlier, this is wild. It's like I'm talking to myself. Well, I guess this is like a
I can hear you. Yeah.
But anyway, the other day when you spoke of championing other heroes besides Black Panther, because Black Panther takes the air out of the room. I understand that. I get it, and you're right. It does. It would help and boost those other characters up, right? Yes. So I understand how we should champion other characters. I have to say this though. Like, I'm a diehard Black Panther fan. You all know that. You know, I am doing like side projects, customs. I like having stuff nobody else has. I like getting those Easter egg type of deals. There's so much to discover that I still haven't discovered about T'Challa, about Wakanda, about the Jabari lands, about the Chilling Mist, about the Savage lands or the dinosaur lands in Wakanda. Like, there's so much to discover.
Right.
And I'm still learning about that stuff. That is why I chose just T'Challa, because there's so much that I can kind of build off of and work on.
Sir.
So it's kind of hard to like push other characters
I recognize
up front because this is my guy.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I'm saying? So I understand. Yeah. I understand like pushing other characters out there so people can get to learn them and stuff. And I try. I throw a couple of like, you know, triathlon and you know, a couple other characters out there, but I'm really a Black Panther guy. So that's where it's kind of hard for me. Like the stuff that I have, like I don't have, I won't say the brain capacity, but like the time. I don't have the time to dive into this character. And that's why I stay in Wakanda. And I discovered things in Wakanda. This is really weird, man, that I can't hear you guys, but y'all can hear me.
So you can't hear me at all. You can't hear me at all.
You can't hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
You can hear me.
Can you hear me? You can't hear me? That is crazy. I don't know what happened. I do not know what happened. Can you hear me?
Nah.
Wow.
I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
I have an idea. What?
I don't know what.
Are you saying
leave the buttons alone, Paul? That's all I'm gonna say.
This? You don't know what happened?
I don't know nothing. I do not know
you
what
have
happened.
nothing to do with this, or nobody knows what happened?
I don't know what happened.
You don't have nothing to do with this. So this was done on purpose? Please.
No, it's not.
No.
Now you don't want me. Come on, now, don't listen. Now y'all know my track record. I'm not even looking up now. but y'all know my track record.
You
know my track record.
You can't hear me.
And if you know, if this happened by accident,
try your headphones.
Cool. I understand we have technical difficulties.
See if your headphones. See if your headphones are disconnected. Yes. Try your headphones.
Okay, let's see what happens. Let's see. Nothing.
Can you hear me?
No.
I don't know what happened. That is weird.
Nothing. Okay. Well, see, I hear my wife in my head, and she's saying, "Don't do that, Otis. Don't say it, Otis. Don't say it, Otis." So I'm not going to. But I will say this. I'm sure this wasn't done on purpose.
No.
I know you guys. You guys love me. I love you guys.
Yes.
I know. Technical difficulties, something. Maybe I wasn't supposed to say, because you notice this happened right as soon as I said, "Paul, why don't you run that disclaimer?" And then right after that happened, that's when this happened. So right. See, you're laughing because you know I'm telling the truth. Now, Big Phil would say Big O is paranoid. Big O is paranoid right now. And no, that's not it. That's not it. I just, you know me, the watcher, watch things, hear things, see things, come to my own conclusions. Sometimes they're not right. But I love you guys. I love you guys. You know that. You know that. We had a great conversation about Gil Scott. We had a great conversation about Jimi Hendrix. You shared, I shared, people learned, and that's what's going on.
Matters. Yes, sir.
That's what's going on. Paul is texting me.
Yeah.
Nah, man, no. I get it. It's cool, man. It's cool. I am all right. Trust me. I'm cool. It's not your fault. Technical difficulties. Stuff happens. You know, things happen. It's all good. We had a great conversation though. We had a great conversation, and that's what's important. That's what's important.
One probably says turn
actually,
your
if you
Bluetooth.
think about it, we were going off on a different rail. So we were supposed to talk about what we were talking about. I don't have my glasses on.
You said turn off your Bluetooth. Turn off your Bluetooth,
Turn
Otis.
your Bluetooth off?
Turn it off.
Okay, hold on a second.
Maybe they connected by accident. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you. And I turned my Bluetooth off. So, sorry.
Okay.
You know, things happen. And it's cool.
That's cool.
Things happen. Like I said, I can't hear
weird.
y'all, so I know this is probably kind of weird for everybody that's watching, even for you guys. And again, we spoke of, I think, what we were supposed to speak about.
Yes,
and
sir.
Jimmy, Gil Scott, you shared, I shared, people learned, and they're going to maybe research and know how wonderful this man is, know how wonderful Gil Scott is.
Absolutely.
And do your thing. It's around the 2-hour mark anyway. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to get up and go to work in the morning. I love you guys. We'll call it a night, I guess. And if it comes back on, then we can talk about it. But yeah. Thank you, Black Comic Lords, for having me on. I appreciate it. Oh, before I go, I want to say this. It's just something long overdue, and don't worry about it. You don't have to run any spoilers or whatever, or disclaimers or whatever. I'm not gonna say anything bad. I want to give a special shout out to brother Mitchell Purvis.
Okay.
I know some of you know him. He's in Black Comic Lords. He's in Blurred Core. He's in a lot of groups. Brother Mitchell Purvis was the first person to tell me about Black Superheroes Forever and Blurred Core and getting me on this train of how I collect. I've always collected, but you know what I'm saying, like allowing me to meet you gentlemen and ladies. And I thought I did, but I never truly thanked him for the world that he opened up for me. I truly appreciate that, because without him, y'all wouldn't be seeing like this stuff. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't be motivated to make things, but like it's fun sharing. Do you know what I'm saying? So shout out to brother Mitchell Purvis. Love you, man. Those 5 Deadly Venoms, we're gonna talk about them. And yeah, we'll do what we do. But yeah, shout out to Mitchell Purvis. All right, so I'm gonna quit rambling right now, and we'll just call it a night. Love you guys. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for listening to me talk. Oh, and one last thing, Prowler. I'm making a Prowler.
Okay.
I got 2 of them. So those pictures that I posted, there we go. Those pictures that I posted of things that I wanted to make, I wanted to make a couple of Prowlers. I'm gonna airbrush the hair and the eyes are gonna glow red, and I'm even gonna put some sort of light inside of its mouth through the back of its head, so when he opens his mouth, a beam comes out.
That's what's up.
This is what I do.
You know what I'm saying?
This is what I do. Yeah. Okay, so thank you for having me. Love talking to you, bro. Everything was cool. This was awesome. It really was. And I won't take this personal. I promise.
Respect. Respect.
Yeah. Y'all know me. Yeah.
It
was cool. Herschel probably somewhere like this, flicking stuff on and off. King of Trolls, right? I hope it's not Herschel. Let's hope it's not Herschel. I love you, Herschel. I wanted to meet you at MegaCon, Herschel, and I had something for you. Ask Angel, because I talked to her and I asked her where you were at. I had something for you to give to you because I wanted to meet you, Herschel, and you didn't come to my table. Kind of hurt my feelings. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Kind of hurt my feelings because we was in the same city and you ain't come through. I hung out with Paul, got to ride in T'Challa. His Jaguar is dope. I don't care what Mark says. His Jaguar truck is dope. Had purple lining on the inside. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for giving me that ride because that was a privilege, man. That was cool. I got in Paul's car like I would get in my father's. I closed the door real quiet. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to slam the door. I was like this. I was there like this. I had my book on I wasn't moving because that car is clean. And I know that was his ride. Beautiful, beautiful car. Beautiful truck. Beautiful. Okay. That's all. I gotta go. Love you guys.
Love you too, man. So with that said, you know what I'm saying? We thank Otis for coming on with your boy. We had a dope conversation. We had some technical difficulties. I don't know what that was. Suffice to say that, you know what I'm saying, it was still a dope conversation, you know what I'm saying? So apologies for the technical difficulties. I just do not know what happened. I don't have no control, no buttons or nothing. And I'm just glad we had a dope conversation. That's my guy. I love that dude. Otis is a solid 10 toes down fan. And I will say this, you know, in response to what he was saying about Black Panther, you know, his being his guy, and what I said a couple of week or so ago. I know that the thing about Black Panther is he's so encompassing, and there's so a lot we can learn from the mythos of Black Panther and of all of Wakanda. I just want us to try to incorporate the superheroes that T'Challa hangs out with or integrates with to kind of build some more of the fandom. It's not about, you know, one guy taking all the shine. Because I think if you put the shine on other characters that T'Challa interacts with, it makes him a larger than life character that he already is. And so again, respect to all the Black Panther fandom. I love you guys. You know, I will have fun and poke and joke, you know, at your expense sometimes, but it's all love. You know what I'm saying? I love this community and everything attached to it. So with that said, again, I want to thank Otis for hanging out with me. So let me go ahead and give the benediction. The benediction comes from Psalm 46:1. It simply says this: God is our refuge and our strength, a present help in time of trouble. With that said, from the stronghold that is Black comic lords and Black superheroes forever, it's your boy Rich. Until next time, we'll see you. Oh, before I go, let me forget to mention Atlantic Comic Con 2024. That's happening in August, I want to say, August 17th, 18th. We'll be down there, Black Comic Lords, and we'll be having a meetup and doing a lot of good things down there. So we want you guys to come out, hang out with your boys, talk shop, dig into some books, enjoy this fandom. So it's going to be a little bit for everybody. Going to be some cosplay, some dope stuff. We're going to be there, Lord willing, says the same. Also, we want you to continue to support your favorite current comic book series by pre-orders before the final cutoff date. So please subscribe and get your pull list. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel on YouTube. Please hit this notification bell as well. Subscribe to the video. Tell somebody, because we got a lot of content you can check out, whether it's the Wednesday wrap-up, Wakanda Whiskey and Blerdom on Friday nights. Yours truly here on Sunday nights. We do several roundtables on different topics, whether we talk about independent creators or different fandoms like, Milestone, for example. Also, we have dope interviews. We got a crazy roster of interviews, whether we're talking about the guys at Tribe, Dr. John Jennings, Rodney Barnes, just to name a few. You can find all of those on our YouTube channel as well. Lastly, if you are an independent creator, if you send your URL and send your logo, we will add you to our website. We have a part of our website that is dedicated to Black independent comics. And like I said, if you send us your link, send us your logo, we'll add you. And that way, people that go to our site can go directly to your site and order their books or find out about what you have to offer. So please.
What's up, comic fam? It's your boy Paul with an exclusive look at a dope new section of our blackcomiclords.net website. Head to the site, click on Black Indie Comics for your selection of the dopest Black comics around. And if you're a Black comic creator and you want to be added to the site, send us your link with a copy of your logo so we can add it in there. But be patient. We're getting there. We're getting there. Much respect to all of you.
All right. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Again, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. I'm not sure if we have an interview lined up, but if not, you will definitely see us Wednesday night for the Wednesday wrap-up. That's New Comic Book Day. And so until then, take care of yourselves, love on each other, and we hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Please give us some commentary. Let us know how we did or what we can improve on. Also, if you have any concerns, please email blackcomiclords.net blackcomiclords@gmail.com. With that being said, thanks again, guys, for hanging out with your boy. Until next time, we say peace. We out.